It goes without saying, well, okay, I'm saying it right now, but Albert Einstein is one of the greatest scientists ever. His contributions to the world live on in so much of our daily lives, but it might surprise people to know that more than 68 years after his death, he still has a social media presence of more than 20 million followers. Amity recently talked with Benjamin Cohen, the man behind the official Einstein social media accounts and author of the new book, The Einstein Effect.
I first got obsessed when I was in college. I learned about the pathologist who performed Einstein's autopsy stole his brain, cut open his head and stole his brain. And I was thinking to myself, nobody ever taught us this story about Einstein when I was in school. And I was trying to figure out what else don't I know about Einstein? And that kind of just set me off on a journey. And eventually the Albert Einstein estate called me up and said, do you want to manage Albert Einstein's social media? Because you seem to be so obsessed with him. And so that's how it got started.
So what do you think it is that really attracts people to care about a decades-old scientist?
You know, he was this beloved character. He looks like everybody's grandfather. He was very sweet-natured. You know, he's not like other scientists. Shakespeare doesn't have any Twitter followers, and Galileo isn't on Instagram or TikTok. I just think he holds a place in everybody's heart. I like to call him the first modern day celebrity. He came around when radio was taking off and people were getting TV sets in their home and newspapers obviously were popular. He had this place in the pop culture in people's minds. And you think about it, Time magazine named him the person of the century in 1999. Not Gandhi, not Martin Luther King, not Princess Diana. It was Albert Einstein.
You know, and there's good reason for that, too, because, I mean, I think we all know E equals MC squared. We all know this, the theory of relativity. We all know these things that he was very famous for. But there was a year of his life, which I believe is referred to as this magic year. Tell us about some of the other inventions that impact our lives today.
Yeah, Einstein was 26 years old in 1905, and historians call it Einstein's miracle year. He came up with 4 revolutionary papers, which kind of just turned science on its head. I'm not a scientist. I like to call myself a likable idiot. But from what I gathered and what I put in my book, there's a lot of technologies that we have that we use every day that have Einstein's fingerprints on it. So my favorite to talk about is GPS. So we all use GPS in our cars. You know, when the pizza delivery guy finds your house, he found your house because of GPS. And so the reason GPS works is because of Einstein's theory of relativity. So think about that the next time, you know, you get an Amazon delivery, or the next time you're using a dating app and you're swiping to see who's single in your area, you have Einstein to thank for that.
I really want people to think about Einstein when they're dating. Like, if I get anything out of this interview today, I want it to be that. So we've got this scientist who was relevant from 1905 until now. So what does he tweet about? What does he say on social media?
So I tweet a lot of science stories, you know, but the most popular stuff I tweet are photos of Einstein. And because I work with the Albert Einstein estate, they've got hundreds and hundreds of photos, some of which, you know, a lot of people have not even seen yet. So every Thursday I post a Throwback Thursday photo of Einstein. Obviously, there's lots of quotes. You know, Einstein was really good with a pithy quote. So we do Wednesday Wisdom quotes from Einstein. My favorite thing is on Fridays, we do Fan Art Friday, and people can submit. Just tag Albert Einstein on social media and people submit their artwork of Einstein. And some of it is incredible artwork. And so I share that every Friday morning, which is great fun.
So let's talk about your book, The Einstein Effect. Tell me about it.
So I really wanted to show people it's not really for scientists, it's for the masses. It's to show them how Einstein is still relevant nearly 70 years after his death. And it just goes into all sorts of things. So we talked about GPS and other technologies. We talk a lot about Einstein and pop culture. So I interviewed a bunch of celebrities for the book. I interviewed Christopher Lloyd, who's, you know, famous character from Back to the Future, Doc Brown. He told me he modeled Doc Brown's character after Einstein with the crazy white hair. I spoke to another actor, Mandy Patinkin, who works for an organization called the International Rescue Committee, which is a humanitarian aid organization that Albert Einstein founded in 1933.
There's a lot to managing socials. Has this changed the way you view the man? I mean, it has to when you live so intimately with this character.
Yeah, I feel like Einstein, if he were alive today, I think he would enjoy Twitter. I think, you know, he was snarky, he was witty. I think he would have a fun time on it. So, you know, if there's some way that I can manifest him in 2023. You know, I think it's an awesome responsibility to speak for the smartest man of the 20th century.
It's a big responsibility, and I think it's so amazing. I do have to ask you one quick question before I go, or my sister, who's a member of MUFON, will kill me if I do not answer. Let's talk about alien hunters. All right. So
Yeah.
Einstein's theory of relativity serves as a basis for a group of astronomers who are trying to find life on another planet with one of the world's most technologically advanced telescopes. What are Einstein's thoughts on this?
So Einstein actually believed we were not alone in the universe. He did believe that there was intelligent life somewhere out in the world. There's a chapter in my book where I followed a bunch of these are Harvard astronomers. These are not like, you know, crackpots. These are the real deal astronomers. They are working in the middle of nowhere in West Virginia. It's one of the largest telescopes in the world, and they are listening for alien radio signals. And the technology that they're using is all based on Einstein's research.
I knew it. We're not alone.